Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here with us. We are really excited of having you there. As you know, our topic today is smart goals, especially applied to energy efficiency. We are just waiting to the last attendees to join. So in the meantime, let's take a look to our agenda. This is how our agenda looks today. We will talk about really briefly about what are SMART goals and what is this methodology. It's really related to business, but you can use it, of course, in a smart in energy efficiency. Then we will talk a little bit about how some of our clients and previous projects have used this in real energy efficiency projects. And then a couple of tools that you should use to track your performance with energy efficiency goals. Okay, so then you have time for questions, of course, as always. Remember to use our question box. It's on your right, probably in your screen. You can make as many questions as you want during the whole webinar, and we will answer them at the end of the webinar, okay? So let's go to the first part, which is basically me introducing what is a SMART methodology. This is no news. We know that you know, but we really wanted to talk a little bit about this SMART goals methodology with you because we have seen that not many people is using it in energy efficiency, and it's really a booster for your performance, okay? So this methodology was introduced in this book by Peter Drucker. He published this in 1954, but he didn't talk about SMART goals. Actually, he talked about good practices in management, okay? Then, with the past of the time, this has been applying to business management, project management even. And in 1981, there was a magazine where they state by the first time what was a SMART goal. So, SMART means that you can boost your performance and have real clear objectives for your projects. By how? By making these goals specific, measurable, assignable. Assignable here means that you can specify who is in charge of what. Realistic and time related. Okay, so okay, what does this mean? Probably if you are an energy manager or you work in the energy business and you ask your client or you ask yourself, what do I want to achieve with my energy efficiency plan? You will probably say, okay, I want to save money and I want to save energy. Great, that's great. That's a good start, but that is not really smart. A SMART objective will look like this. I want to achieve a percentage of savings in what? In electricity cost in the next six months. Why? What is the difference? Well, like in my really simple icon here, you have a goal that it's broad and that it's open, and you don't know where to focus if you say, I want to save time, I want to save energy and money. But if you specify and if you use a SMART methodology, you have the focus. You know where your ball is going to enter to the goal and you will make the score, okay? So this is what we will try to do today. Work with a SMART methodology and use real business cases to demonstrate what is a SMART goal and what is not a SMART goal in your energy efficiency plan, okay? Why should you care? It's really simple to explain why should you care if you're an energy professional about having clear goals. First is that if you have a clear goal, you and anyone in your team or in your office or in your organization will understand it because it's specific, okay? Second, you can share it because people is going to read it, it's going to understand, it's going to know what you are doing and why you are doing that. And finally, it's engaging. So people feel more engaged when you create SMART goals because they have a clear perspective of what you expect from them. And also your clients, they understand why you ask them to do some stuff in energy efficiency plans and why not other stuff, okay? So there's something that it's commonly missed when people talk about SMART goals, and you will find if you browse around in the internet and you look for definitions, you will find tons of definitions of SMART methodology. But one thing that I really like is that Peter Drucker, this guy that started this theory of management by objectives in 1954, said that if you don't make commitment, you will have promises and hope, but no plan. Okay, SMART goals is about commitment. You have to sit with your boss or with your client or with your team, and you have to agree to the goals. I know this is difficult because everyone has an opinion about the objective. Someone will say, "Oh, this is too hard," or "This is too high. That we are not going to achieve this," or yes, or but you have to have those discussions, okay? Try it and it will be really useful for your organization, and the SMART goal will be even better, okay? So before going to really seeing these SMART objectives in energy efficiency plans, I propose you to play a little bit, and you can use the question box to try to write a SMART objectives in a minute here. Like try to think of what you're working now and try to write a really simple objective that you think it's smart or smarter than you will probably be using now. And then we will catch up on these objectives and we will discuss together if it's smart or not at the end of the webinar. But by now, let's see SMART objectives in real life. And that's why I invited today Daniel Utges, our product director.
Hi, Maria. How are you?
Hello, Daniel.
Guys. How are you doing there?
Good. Thank you for being with us.
And it's a pleasure as always.
He's here because I've been using SMART goals for my marketing plans, for business plans, sales plans, but I really don't use them in an efficiency project. But he has done this with partners and clients in Dexma, and we wanted to share real examples of how a project could benefit of having this clear picture of where we are going with energy efficiency. So let's go, Daniel.
Thank you so much. Okay, so here today we have two different case studies, right? So two different projects that we've been working since 2010 in our company. So Dexma is becoming old, you know. So we have that kind of track of records of that project started in back 2011, something like that. Anyway, so we will share these SMART goals and how do they apply this to our audience today. I would like to thank as well to all the people from all over the world that it's connecting right now. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Okay, so really thanks to be here hearing me. Okay, so where you can apply those SMART goals, right? So which sectors do you can apply? Well, almost to everyone that wants to reduce their energy consumption. So that gives us a whole broad of companies, right? So we have a whole spectrum of people. So for instance, at Dexma, we are working together with our partners in many projects regarding corporate buildings or universities. Well, we have a couple of very big universities in the world, right? As well for the hotels, hotel change are projects, really exciting projects because you have multiple locations, expanded abroad of the globe normally. So then it's a challenge to start monitoring all of them and then setting up the general goal, right? They have supermarket, similar to the hotels, but they consume a little bit less than energy. Okay, then we have the restaurants and retail. So it seems that a restaurant doesn't consume that much energy, but it really does. So we have restaurants consuming more than 5,000 to 10,000 euros per month. So it's a good target to start setting SMART goals and then reducing a big amount of energy there. Then we have museums. That museums, it's something very particular, right? So every single museum, it's something singular itself, right? So we have museums that we're very proud of, like the British Museum. right? And this is so good to have it in our portfolio. And then we have public administrations, manufacturing. It's totally different sector that every SMART goals depending on the line. So we have a case study today presenting on manufacturing, right? Utilities as well, and then banks, right? So they have the money, but they want also to save the money. That's cool. So next slide, it's now talking of one of those case studies, right? It's the Radisson Blu case study, right? And we did it with our partner from the UK called Optimized Buildings, right? So now we're going to explain more or less what they did and when they were what they were expecting from their smart goals, right? So just a recap of their background and what that customer is. It's basically a hotel, and it was really cool when we started the project because they claim us be the greenest hotel in the UK. So so it was something not very logical to start analyzing a project that is the greenest one in order to reduce energy. And they had the BREEAM excellent certification. So that means that basically in terms of construction and in terms of materials, there was no anything better than that building. Okay, so it was a challenge for our partner and for Dexon as well to try to get savings from that, right? Anyway, it was a 4-star hotel. It's a hotel located next to an airport, okay? More than 200 beds, opened in 2011, so it's really young. And it's located close to Derby in the Midlands of the UK. Okay, in terms of systems, that's so special because it has a combined heat and power system of 285 kilowatts. That basically it's something very superb. It's something very big, right? And it was a challenge to manage that. And they had already a BMS, or a building management system from Trend. And we used that system and we installed 45 different submeters to get the data in real time into our platform, okay? And Optimized Buildings was involved as a trust advisor, trust technology advisor, and energy consultant to help that good people from Radisson Blu to save energy. And the overall results was about taking 30% of the total energy consumption, including gas and electricity, okay? So 41% in gas and electricity. So how did they do that? Well, the first goal that they want to have is I need to find the baseline because it was very young hotel. Hotel was constructed in 2011. This is almost August 2013 when we started Project Maria. And well, the first thing that they want to know is what they should be consuming. And we had to analyze all the data that we had. That was not too much. It was almost 1.5 years of historical information. And we basically generate the baseline, taking into account the external conditions, so external temperature, external humidity, the temperature, the hotel activity, right? So if they have rooms booked or not. And also, as they have that very big combined heat and power system, we had to take into account both energy sources, so the gas and the electricity. And the problem was that the system, so they had full of different systems acting at the same time, but every single system was set up to act by his own, but not as a group, so not as a team. So the problem was to define how was the optimal consumption for the hotel and which was the baseline that we had to base our reference, okay? But then we did it. So together with our partner, we take all those historical data and we finally generate the baseline based on the external parameters. And then we got the polynomial. So the first goal was a success then. Then once you have the goal, it's basically where you can start. So once you have the baseline, it's where basically you can start defining the SMART goals, okay? So their SMART goal, the first one was I want to reduce the electricity and gas consumption, so both energy sources at the same time, by 50% in 2014. And we just started the project in August 2013, so it was almost 3 to 4 months to get up and running, and then a whole year to get the savings. And basically, we were calculating during that 4 months period the energy baseline, and then we start analyzing. Well, our partners start to analyze Optimized Buildings. what was the energy potential there. And we basically found, as I was telling you before, that yeah, they were a BREEAM building, but in construction mode, right? But then when you have to operate that building, it's where you demonstrate that you're efficient or not. And basically, the BMS was not connecting with the CHP. The CHP was not connecting with the HVAC systems, right? So we have 5 to 10 different systems that were working almost alone. So it was not any kind of feedback within those systems. Our partner fixed it. So they started to analyze how one system could interact with the system next to. And finally, they got a gas reduction by 41%. Okay, so it's so huge, so impressive. That's not the normal project, but you can find projects, even if you are working in the greenest hotel in the UK, you can find kind of that in the operation mode, they are not optimized, okay? Then we have the goal, right? So we see here our baseline that was set for the gas consumption, and that's the theoretical consumption for the hotel. And then in green, we have the real consumption after we did the improvements, okay? So it's clear that the savings at the end of that period of time was 41%. If we see that into aggregated mode, then it's far more easy to detect which is the difference, right? So we should be consuming almost 600,000 kilowatt hours, while during that epoch in time, we were consuming almost half of that, right? So 31% in energy savings. Then from the electricity perspective, where it's more or less the same, right? Because we had that huge CHP machine producing both heating and electricity for the hotel. So at the end of the day, when we were reducing the gas, we were reducing some of the loads that were inside the hotel as well. So the electricity was reduced almost at the same time following the other pattern, right? And we had a reduction of 16% for the first year, okay? And then the third goal that they were willing is, I want to know what's happening now, right? Because they were supposing to manage the greenest hotel in the UK. Our partner demonstrated that it was not like that, right? So despite this BREEAM excellent certification, it was a lot of room for the improvement. And now the chief engineer and the general manager of the hotel wanted to know what was their tracking or their evolution with the goals that they were setting, right? So basically, they have access to a dashboard that is configured with the widgets that they need. Basically, depending on the zone of the hotel, they have one information or another one, and depending on what kind of energy source they want to check, they have one indicators or others. Okay, that's something that we will check how to configure this after during the demonstration part of this webinar. Okay. Well, that's all for the first customer. Now we are moving to a manufacturing industry. Okay. In that case, we're talking in name of Gamo. Gamo is one of the leaders in the ammunition for caravans in the world, right? And that project was done together with our partner 3X4, okay, from Catalonia here in Spain. Well, basically, this is a huge industry, okay, and they are the European leader in compressed air guns. They have customers in more than 80 countries, and so far in his history, they claim that they have a very innovative philosophy, as many other industries, right? So let's check, Maria, what happened with Gamo. Well, first of all, I would like to share with the audience a couple of images of the industry, right? It's a very clean industry. They are performing a lot of manufacturing, but however, it's a very clean industry. So when I first got in, it was like, oh, I didn't imagine it like that. But anyway, okay. So yeah, it's full of machines, big robots that are making the process, the manufacturing process, okay. But basically, they were willing 3 different goals. Well, so the first one is reduce electrical cost by 10% during the first year. It's not here, but it's during the first year. implement a transversal energy management system. Okay, so they didn't want that the energy efficiency to be a part of a department. No, they were willing to have a very transversal energy efficiency program in their company. We need to take into account that this is based in 2010, and 2010 it's almost 6 years ago, and it was before the ISO 50001, right? So they were advancing to the ISO, in fact, because the ISO was launched in 2011, 2012, somewhere there, right? So in fact, they were going ahead of the market. Then finally, establish energy policies and communication campaigns regarding the energy efficiency, and also training to the people, right? So it was like a goal that they wanted to have as well. So if we look in deep at what kind of improvements they did into their process, their industrial process, thanks to having information, right? Because then our partner were installing some meters there and trying to get savings based on the information that they were watching in real time, right? So for example, this is an example of an improvement made in the thermal process, and in one of the thermal processes that they have to generate their ammunition. And it's something very typical that happens in the industries, Maria, is that people, it's used to manage a machine as that they were trained 10 years ago. But then they think that keeping the machine in standby, it's far more efficient than switching it down or switching it off and switching it on when you need it. But our partner made the test. So he was trying to make the A/B analysis, okay? And the fact was that during the switch off when you don't need the machine, so you can reduce that part of energy, of course, that you have a peak here, and reducing it from the long tail of your day, right? So you switch off here the machine. They were getting savings for an aggregated of 3,500 euros. That's just 10% in the thermal process, but everything that you can get, everything counts. Okay, so it's a good deal there. Then we have another different efficiency that was regarding the wastewater treatment. Okay, so you need to understand that this manufacturing industry, at the end of the process, they use water just to clean the product, and that water comes heated, right? So it comes at a higher temperature. So you need to cool that water as well. So it was a matter of reducing the mass flow that helps to cool that water into the pipeline. So at the end of the day, what you would have is you see a full stack of reduction in a couple of kilowatt hours, right? This is a lot of money because it saves energy during the whole year. And then as well, a change of behavior during the holidays. Okay, so before was always consuming energy, so they were always using that mass flow to cool down the water. But now with the better behavior and with changing the mass flow, they had a reduction of 8,000 euros per year. So that's huge improvement. That's 25% only in that process, in the water treatment. And then this is something very typical, let me see, but this is something very important, that it's the passive consumption. Okay, so what's happening at night, right? So as you can see, as you have data in real time using our platform, for instance, the first thing that our partners do, it's okay, what happens when your building, it's supposed to be sleeping? So at night, or when you don't have no activity, or you shouldn't have any activity there. So basically what we have, it's okay, so they were consuming at the level of 10 kilowatt per hour, right? So 10 kilowatt hours during the whole year. And our partner went there and now did what kind of elements could be switched off during that hours, in the non-activity hours. It seems basic, but it's one of the easiest ways to reduce energy, the easiest ways to get trust with your customer, and the easiest ways to start doing new things in your company, right? This is giving an annual savings of 3,700 euros, okay? Well, if we aggregate all the different things that our partner was doing, so they did more than these three. So during the first year, they did close to 6 improvements. And during the second year, they did close to 9 or 10 different improvements, okay? So if we take the baseline year and then we see the year 1 and year 2, in the year 2, they got 28% difference versus the year 1. So this is a huge improvement. Basically, they wanted to have this because they are treating energy cost as any other manufacturing cost. So as well that they are trying to purchase better their iron or their coal, so they are trying to consume less energy to be more competitive. So at the end of the day, their annual energy reduction was 700,000 kilowatt hours, and that reports close to 55,000 euros in energy savings. Okay, so basically their goals that was reducing 10% in energy efficiency was a success. And then in terms of the other goals that applying the general plan in the company, so basically they after that became ISO 50001, right, certified, so that's a goal. And then as well, they had trainings for every single people in the department, right? And with that kind of processes, they success with all their goals. Okay. Good. So now, Maria, if you want, we can show to our audience how you can track this.
Sure, because I'm sure that not everyone is like in the very moment of starting a new project and having to deal with really writing from scratch the SMART goals. So we wanted to add this little part of the webinar, because if you are involved in a project right now, it's good that you review your goals and try to make them smarter, but also it's good for you to know that that you should track your performance, okay? And that there are tools, easy to use tools that you should be looking at to track your performance. So let's go, Danny. Let's talk about these things.
Yeah, sure. So let's move maybe to Dextel Energy Manager, right? So you can get the free trial going to our website, www.dexnotech.com. Okay, so just go there and click into the register or something, and then you can see everything that I will be showing to you. Okay, so basically we have 3 different accounts. I will be showing how to track this in the corporate building account that we have, right? So we have different buildings all over the world, right? So we have 3 different regions in Canada, in Europe, and in the States, right? So we have different buildings here. All of them have electricity, some of them have gas, and some of them have water there, right? And basically inside Dextel, what you can start doing is defining your goals, right? So I've created here a SMART goal dashboard, okay? And it says my consumption so far this year, okay? And it compares to me versus the same period last year, right? So basically, if my target was to reduce electricity during this year at a certain level, for instance, 5% versus last year, this is a very, very easy way to log in every week, for instance, and you have aggregated all the different consumptions for your project. The same here, it's basically the same information, but shown in a bar chart, right? So you have here the January consumption, almost 2 million kilowatt hours. And in green, we point the same consumption for last year, but it was a bit more, right? So we are reducing a very tiny quantity from last year, okay? If we want to go more in deep, for instance, I could say to Dextel, I just want to know, so for this month, which is my performance, and then compare it versus last year, okay? And this is something very, very easy to get your SMART goal on track. Then, for instance, as my project is so big, right? So we have a lot of buildings, I can focus in a particular region, right? So if I click here to Europe, then I just have the same information, but focusing into my Europe buildings, right? So we are waiting for the aggregation for the whole year of all the different consumptions. Okay, so here we have it, right? So in Europe, I'm saving a bit more. I'm reducing 3.14% versus last year. And so far this month, I've been reducing my consumption 8.22%. Okay, so this is a very, very quick way, and I can do the same with gas, with water, with my ratios, with my KPIs, with whatever I want. Okay, then if you're setting your baseline, right, you can use our tool for measurement and verification, right? You can just set up here your baseline, right? And Dextel, it's giving you in real time, which is the whole project. So that is an HVAC project that Anesco told me, or I've set a goal of reducing at 20% of my energy, but it's a 5-year project, right? So if you don't have data in real time, the more typical way to do that is that you will verify once per year, right? But why you should be doing that? So in every single year could happen millions of things that you don't control. So with Dextel and with monitoring in real time, what you have, it's every day, how are you performing, right? So if you take every single day that you want, you will see how you should be performing based on the baseline and what's the real consumption then that you have, okay? And that's something really cool because you can check which days you are doing wrong because Dextel tells you that you're in red, okay? And then you can extract all of this as an ongoing report, right? So I've created, well, here you will see that you were expecting 20%, but you are performing so good, Maria. So you are taking 35% in energy savings plus minus 5% because it's a statistical error of the baseline, okay? But once you have this information in real time that you can log in and you can check it, that what you can do is that Dextel works for you, right? So you can go here to reports and generate a SMART goal report, okay? So if you go here to SMART goal report, I've generated my report, and then it's so easy to track my HVAC project just for last period. So for last week, for instance, okay, in blue you have the baseline, then in green or in red you have the current consumption that you did that year, the aggregated information for the savings for the last year, last month even. So if you want to go 1 month before, I have to remember that this is a 5-year project, right? So and then you have the whole project as well into the report with the overall savings of 35.1%. So this is a very easy way to make Dextel or a platform that works for you, so you don't need to go log in and detect what's happening. It's just Dextel that sends it to you once every week or once every month if you want, and you can add into the same report as many different SMART goals as you want. Okay.
And remember that this helps with communication and sharing, and this will help you to have not only your clear view of how the SMART goal is performing, but also to share it with your team, with your boss, with anyone that should be engaged, because you are probably not working alone, as anyone is, and you should have other people help, and you can demonstrate them with visual dashboards and visual reports how good or bad you're doing and what you need from them for help. So that's also why we wanted to bring you these 2 examples that of course are Dexma solutions, but you can or you should find those examples in any platform that you use. If not, you will be working with other stuff like Excel.
Like
that we did it. We started with that. Everyone started with that, but we have to move on, and we have more solutions now that are more efficient, that are more simple to use. And that's why we wanted to show you the dashboards and reports.
Yeah, and also then what we have is if you are performing, for instance, so SMART goals, it's a very simple way to start doing this. But then if you want to move your organization to the next level, then you maybe will ask for the ISO 50001, right? And then using the platform that we're showing today, so Dexma's platform of Dextel Energy Manager, then it goes with standardized report for the ISO 50001, right? So that you can use in your organization to aggregate all the different information and to be more ISO 50001 compliant, right? So to get the certification far more easier and make the tracking far more easier, and then start improving. Okay, so it's plan, do, check, act, and then you have to improve all over again, right? So this is basically for a big project that you have multiple different sites. So we normalize that site, we compare that site, then we get the overall energy reduction, so which is your overall SMART goal, right? And which is the estimated savings for this year. A couple of information of the aggregated demand consumption in holidays or in work days. And then, of course, if you're dealing with a European project, right, so it's good to understand which countries you are exceeding your goals and you are performing good in your goals, right? And that kind of information is something that is there in the platform, but the Excel works for you to analyze that and to just show it to make your own decisions based on that, basically. Okay, and then we have the ranking of the top or exceeding sites, right? The worst sites in your project. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then
this is really interesting because many people at the starting of this year ask us to talk more about the ISO regulation and stuff like this, and it's clearly a smart goal that many energy managers are looking forward to fulfill this year, to really achieve this year, to be more efficient with the regulation and with the ISO 5001.
Exactly, and then it's a matter of taking that power into energy monitoring platform, energy analytics platform, but not staying there, right? So doing that platform works for you, and then generate the report. For sure that can report now it appears here in our own colors and logos, but there's not a problem if you want to customize that report for your organization, right? Mm-hmm. So we are more than happy to do that. And well, Maria, I think that we finished with the planned agenda.
Yes, we did. We will wait for your questions, just in case you have. We have some during the webinar, and we can really check some of the SMART goals proposed by some of the attendees. I have one, for example, that says, okay, I want to save 5% in gas cost from my main building. This is really a nice goal. It's important, but there's something missing there, and it will be like the time-related clause. Remember to try to say, okay, I want to save this much amount in this kind of cost, but during this period of time. Because if not, what will happen is that, as Danny showed, you won't have a real record on time if you are doing well or not, or when it's going to end your project, when did you start to do good things or not, or so it's really important the time in the SMART goals thing. Then let's see, we have okay. I want to add meters and submeters, like in examples we have explained, to all my buildings and monitorize all energy in the next 3 months. Okay, this one is really, I will say optimistic, and I will say like excited about energy efficiency. But everyone should fix their goals. What I will say here is that maybe, and I don't know if you agree, Danny, it's that saying, okay, try to specify how many meters you want to add, because it's really good to say, I want to add meters, I want to track everything. But then what we see is that many people then lose the track, or don't really know how expensive that could be also, or because you need the hardware and you need some investment there. So try to, as you are defining the goal, do some research about that, and then with that, okay, decide, okay, I will start with 5 more meters in 3 months, and then we will track, we will measure, we will have these reports and dashboards, and we will see what happened. That's why it's so important. I think that we got really 2 great takeouts from the webinar today. One of them is that if you haven't done it yet, you should look for your baseline, which it was the start of all of these projects.
Yeah, exactly. So how much should I be consuming, or what's my consumption so far, right? So defining a baseline, it's very basic.
It's a basic SMART goal to say basically, okay, in 2 weeks I want to know which should be my baseline of what should I be consuming, and then one great advice that Danny shares is that check the non-working hours. So maybe you should be thinking of a SMART goal if you haven't done that yet. Also, that okay, what is going on in your building while no one is there? Because it's really surprising from the examples to see that, oh my God, they are still consuming energy while no one was in the industry, right? So that was good. Let's check if we have any other questions.
Yeah, so it's a direct question asking from, I think it's from someone from Malaysia, that it's asking regarding how do that metering system works. So, well, I think that he is asking regarding the technology that there's involved there. So basically what you need, it's a system that reports data to the cloud. Okay, we have many different options to get that working. So for instance, in the case that I've been showing you, the first one in the hotel, they had already a BMS there, a building management system. So basically we integrate with that BMS from Trend, and we are getting all the information that the sensors that are already there are sending it to us. However, the partner installed 47 additional meters, basically were gas meters and electricity meters. And this is a box that you have to install into the electrical frame there. And that box reports through our servers using a Modbus protocol through the internet. Okay. To the second option, it was more gas and electricity. They didn't have BMS. They had an SCADA, but the SCADA was not reporting the appropriate sensors there. Right, so basically the partner installed, I guess, I can't remember now, but it was 8 to 10 different meters, combining gas and electricity, and it was everything like the first one. So Modbus and then through internet. Okay. Yeah, is it someone asking, so if we have some projects in America? Yes, we have projects there, we have partners there. So in case that you are interested, just contact us and we will put in contact with our reference partner there.
After the webinar, as always, we will share this video with you and also some of these case studies, because this is a great documentation that we have for you with the details, like the one that Danny just explained about hardware, meters, and all, and so on and so on. So we will share those case studies. We have many more. We didn't want to overcharge you with information today, but there are many projects that work with the SMART goals with us and that perform really well, as you saw, and you can really learn from these examples. So I think that we are done here today. Thank you very much for listening to us. I just want you to invite you to our next webinar that will be in a month, 17th March. And Danny will be here again, but it will be a completely different webinar because we have a new secret weapon for the market. We are really excited. We're still building it, finishing the last details to have it perfect, and we will introduce it in an exclusive webinar for you on March 17th. So go to our webpage, everything is published already, and you can save your spot. We won't say anything else. We want it to be a big surprise. I don't know if Danny wants to give you a sneak peek about it, or...
Well, I think it's something that will help a lot of people save energy.
Yeah.
So that's what we work here at Dexma, and I think that with that new product, that SMART goal will be there.
Totally. So see you in a month. Thank you for being there again, and have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.